Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 21 career mode, and today we are here for the second episode of the season, here for the Doha and Portuguese Grand Prix. Now of course in the last episode we were at Qatar, so it's still the same track for the first race of this second episode, so hopefully the pace that we had in the previous one should transfer across, but of course it was an absolutely crazy race, so many crashes. I do recommend you go check it out if you haven't seen it already. But without any further ado, we may as well head straight into practice. We've got no notifications on any of the fronts because we sorted them all out at the end of the previous episode. So I'll see you at the end of practice and hopefully I will have achieved all of the objectives. So then, I have just gone to the top of the timesheets on my final lap, so hopefully we'll get the extra research data for doing that, although I think this week my objective actually might have been different, because when I checked here it says I've got to do the best lap during the race, so I think I can't actually get that one in free practice. It's got to be in the race that I do that one, but I've got all the other objectives as you can see here, and we have gone top by quite a way as well, actually 0.6 of a second. We were a tenth away, and then on my last lap I started using power mode 3 just to try and make up the time, because of course the tyre was destroyed, so I needed the engine to actually do the lap time. So we'll skip to the end of all the free practice sessions and see how we end up in the combined times. So at the end of that first practice session then, we were still fastest, 0.6 ahead of Xavi Artigas, and honestly I can't see the AI beating that in any of the other combined sessions, so I think we are going to stay at the top even after FP2 and 3. But here we are then for qualifying 2, so I'm guessing we must have been top of the timesheets. You can see our name is at the top there. The riders going through from qualifying 1 then are Finati and Antonelli again, and Yamanaka again as well, but this time it's Guevara that went through on the gas bike. So to be honest, I am expecting pole again, because I managed to do the lap that I did on softs on a set of mediums just in free practice. So it seems like we've got a little bit more pace this weekend than we did the weekend before. So that is really, really good. We are definitely improving at the game. But it is unfortunate because, of course, we're already on 120% AI, so I don't want to be pulling away in any of these races. Hopefully, again, we'll have a pretty good race here, but we'll head out onto the track. So McPhee then, 2:08.1, so it's a little bit better than the last time when we headed out onto the track in qualifying for the last episode. It was a 2-minute 9.0, so they are a little bit more on the pace than they were at the start of the last qualifying session. The front was really light through that corner then. So hopefully we can just do a fairly decent lap, get into the 2:07s again. Of course, we only just got pole ahead of Binder last time, so I'm hoping that we can do that again. And of course, if we've got a little bit more pace, which I think I do this weekend, it should be a bit more of a comfortable pole position. I've got Alcoba right in my way here. We are still red the first couple of sectors, but Alcoba's really holding me up here. Can we try and find a way past him? We've hit him up the back a little bit. We've got to make a pass on him. We couldn't quite do it. He's just on the racing line. He came out of the pits, so I don't know why he's not getting out of my way, but he's holding me up so much here. We're going to the right-hand side of Jeremy. We should be able to get him, but this has probably ruined my qualifying lap because he was so slow through that section. So as we come up towards the line, it'll be interesting to see what the time is, but we did lose a lot of time behind Jeremy Alcoba, but unfortunately up towards the line then, 2:07.7 I think that was in the end, so that might still be good enough, 3 tenths clear of John McPhee. We'll have to see what the AI do later on in the session. I'm not going to get out of Alcoba's way, but I mean if he's taking that line, he's not going to do that quick of a lap anyway, so you'll head back to the pits. Hopefully that'll still be good enough for pole, but we might have to come out and do another lap. So at the end of the session then, we still ended up on pole, 3 tenths clear of McPhee, so McPhee didn't improve his time either. A little bit weird, it seems like the AI are actually a few tenths off what they were in the last race, because they were in the 2:07s with me in the last qualifying session, but in this one, Darren Binder could only do a 2:08.2. Tober actually in 4th place, pretty good for him. Acosta in 5th and Messier in 6th position. But my main rival at the minute obviously is Darren Binder, because there were so many crashes in the last race, a lot of the other front runners fell off. He was basically the only one that didn't, so he obviously came 2nd in that one, so he is my main rival, but it is early days in the season yet, so obviously picking a championship rival would be a bit foolish, but I am going to keep my eye on Binder, and of course McPhee will probably be quite a big threat as well, starting in that 2nd position. But let's head into the race now then. Hopefully we can try and get another win here, but I'm expecting to get another bad start, so it might be a bit of battling on the opening couple of laps. So down here on the grid then, at the minute we've got softs on. I do not want that, that's for sure. Want the medium should work pretty well. Don't want to put that medium on. Nearly put on the medium that we used in practice. That definitely would stop us from winning the race. But medium was tough in the last race, but it made it to the end. We did just hang on for the amount of tyres, so I think it's better to go with the tyre that we know does work. We can win on that tyre rather than risk going to a hard tyre and potentially spin up and lose a lot of time or something like that. I mean, it could end up being actually a faster tyre for me, but we may as well stick with this tyre. We know how it's going to react. It's the tyre I've done the most laps on at this circuit. So let's start the race now then. We've got to try and get a better start than last time because it was absolutely abysmal.
Qatar Motorcycle Grand Prix will start shortly here in Doha, with the riders ready to compete on this amazing floodlit racetrack.
So then, 2 Qatar races, 2 pole positions. Can we make it 2 victories? I really hope so. We're waiting for the lights to go out here then at Qatar. Lights out and away we go, putting the weight forward a little bit off the line. But we've not had the best start. In fact, it's been a pretty poor start once again. Toba, though, had an amazing start. We actually only dropped to 4th position behind the 2 Petronases and Toba as we tip it into the first corner. Then we've got Acosta at the inside. A bit of contact from Acosta there. Macia's on the inside of Acosta as well. So we've actually been hung out to dry a little bit on the exit of that one. A bit more contact with Acosta again. Mino slips through. Same with Rodrigo. We've got one of the gas gases at the inside. It is Guevara, I think that is, just moving in front of us. Yes, it is Van Guevara. So we've dropped down to 7th place. It's not been the best start to the race, but it's alright. We know we can make our way back through the pack. The AI make a lot of mistakes. You can see they all turned in so tight through that turn 4 up the inside of Guevara. Then that has left the door open. We're at the inside of Mino as well. A bit of contact with Mino. Sorry, Mino. I was sort of just trying to take the normal racing line, and obviously he was offline from the mistake he made before. And we just sort of came together in the middle of the corner. Macia very wide there. Toba also a little bit wide, but the 2 Petronases are getting away at the front. But it looks like Binder might be making a move on McPhee for the lead. They don't want to be taking points. Well, they don't want to be losing time by passing each other. They will probably want to break away, to be honest. Actually, best bet, really, at this point, because we've got Toba in 3rd place. It might be holding the pack up a little bit. Big mistake on the curb. We just lost a couple of positions there. Trying to flip the bike over and sort of running onto that curb there. You cannot turn on the curbs in this game. It's literally impossible. That is probably the one thing I don't particularly like about this game so far, is that you literally can't turn on the curbs whatsoever. The bike just goes straight. So, a little bit frustrating there, but it was my mistake to run onto the curb. We got Rodrigo trying to come back up the inside of us again, but fortunately not able to do that. So, we're back down to 7th place. Obviously, that progress we made through turn 4 has been undone. But we are... Oh, there's a crash! One of the leaders is Alex McPhee again! That's 2 races in a row that John McPhee has crashed out. So, John McPhee then down, out of the lead. Guevara makes a big mistake through the penultimate turn. We're going to capitalise on that. Rodrigo and Acosta have also crashed, it said at the bottom of the screen there. So, once again, I think it's going to be a chaotic race with loads of crashes because the AI are doing the same sort of mistakes, running onto those curbs on the inside and crashing. But that's going to give Binder a pretty big lead now. Obviously, the 2 Petronases were escaping a little bit anyway, but Binder has probably really benefited from his teammate crashing there. But we got a good slipstream on Andrea Mino. We're going to be able to make a pass down towards the first corner. I'm on the inside, but I just thought better of it. There was no point. I don't feel comfortable enough to outbrake the AI, to be honest, but Guevara, he got back in front of me because I made a bit of a mistake, but we're going to have the inside, so hopefully we should be able to get past Guevara again. He's a little bit wide because he said to leave me a bit of space. There we go, back up into 5th place then. So we might be able to pass Mino here into turn 4 because we know they're going to make the mistake. I don't want to keep exploiting it, but I mean, I'm not just going to slow down when they do it, although to be honest I just kind of followed them a little bit, so it wasn't ideal. But up the inside through turn 5, Mino hangs it around the outside of the run towards turn 6. There might be a bit of contact actually if I stay on the outside of Mino, because he will want to get to the outside as well, because the AI take a weird line through this corner. I lent on him a little bit. He didn't quite go as wide as they have on previous laps, but I got a really good exit actually there compared to Andrea Mino. So back up into 4th position once again here on the 2nd lap of the race. So in front of us then we've got Macia and Toba, and then once again I've got on that curb, so once again we lost another position now, this time to Mino once again. I need to be careful of that curb and stop going towards it. It's just, I keep trying to take my normal line through that corner, and that's kind of what I do. I go towards that curb and just flip the bike over, but you can't do that anymore because you cannot flick the bike over like that. So unfortunately, yet another mistake, and Darren Binder, our championship rival, is actually leading the race at this point in time, so we can't afford to be making too many mistakes on the inside of Mino. That was an aggressive pass, but we've made it stick through the triple right, so a little bit of contact with Mino there. Luckily, none of the leaders in front of us crashing on that curb, so it seems like they are learning, potentially. Through the penultimate turn, then I heard Mino go all over that curb. Same with Macia in front then, and also Toba as well. They went all over the curb, so that's allowed us to catch right into the back of them. There has been another crash behind, but through this last corner then, we got the run on Yama and Macia, because once again they went on the curb too much, getting a bit of slipstream off Toba. Darren Binder at the front is absolutely checking out though, So I need to get past these two and try and hunt down Darren. But look at my tyre temperatures. They are absolutely... They are so hot on the rear. Too much temperature in the rear to even get around half these corners. Oh, 3 wide. We're pinching on the inside. And Masia on the inside there actually still got through. I was surprised. I felt like I was pinching Masia a little bit too much there through the first corner. But Masia gets through. Toba got back in front of me as well. So I didn't pass either of those guys with the slipstream. But round the outside then of Kaito Toba, we've now got the inside. We've got the slipstream off Masia as well. Masia slows down mid-corner. Down towards turn 4 then. I'm going to try and go up the inside of Masia here. We're not going to quite pull that one off because the AI actually got really good on the brakes here. But Masia makes a mistake once again to return 4. That might allow me to attack into 5. Yes, it does. It's going to be similar to what happened with Mino on the previous lap. But we edge him out towards the curb. Are we going to be able to keep this one as we go into turn 6? Yes, we do. So we get up into second position once again now. So I need to hunt down Darren Binder. He's got a 7/10 lead over me. I know I've got the pace. I know I can catch him up. And I know that AI will make mistakes. I just need to stop making mistakes myself. I was going to crash. It's Mino. Mino's down. So in the background you can see on the left-hand side it said it was Mino that's crashed. Binder through the penultimate turn actually didn't do it too badly. So as we're about to start the penultimate lap of the race, Darren Binder might actually have this one in the bag. He goes a little bit tight through the last corner, to be honest. That is going to affect him a little bit as we come onto the straight then. But we're too far behind to get any slipstream, so I'm just going to stick to the left-hand side. May as well. No point going over to the right and back to the left. Just going to lose him a bit of time. Makes sense in MotoGP, of course, to keep the front wheel down. But in Moto3, not really worth it. So fastest up of the race actually still is to Rodrigo at the minute. But we've got 7/10 behind us to Masia. 7/10 in front to Binder. So really needs to try and make up this gap on this lap. Here we go then, we are right on the back of Binder now through turn 6. Binder's really wide up, picks up the bike nice and early. We're going to be all over the back of Darren Binder, and we are going so much quicker than we have on any of the other laps. Half a second quicker than my previous lap at the minute. Binder goes a bit too tight through 7. That's going to leave him vulnerable. We're on the inside of Darren Binder, side by side. Not quite been able to get the power there. I think we are lacking a little bit in grunt out of the corner compared to the AI. I think they have got a little bit more power than me, which I suppose makes sense because, of course, we are on a... well, not quite a stock bike, but a not very upgraded bike. So through turn 10 then, Binder once again goes super wide. I carry the speed through a lot better. If we go towards these triple right-handers, of course, we've got another lap to go, so we don't need to pull off any desperate move on Darren Binder. We've got a whole nother lap, so I'm not going to try anything too risky. There's been a crash behind, so our Cobra's now down as well, so not quite as many crashes in this race, I don't think, as in the previous one, which is good. But there still has been a lot of crashes on these curves. But down towards the final corner then, we are right behind Darren Binder now. And once again, he makes that mistake through the last corner. We're going to have the run for sure towards the line now. So we're about to start the final lap of the race. And side by side for myself and Darren Binder. Being forced over to the right hand side. Didn't really want to be here, but Binder wants to go there. Of course, are we going to actually beat him over the line? Yes, we are. So that's important. If that happens on the last lap of the race, we will beat Binder to the line. But we have now obviously got the lead. As we go into the first corner, I've gotten a little bit too hot though, way too hot, completely wide. Binder went a bit wide though himself, so he actually hasn't gained too much from it, but we've got no grip on the right hand side, so that might explain a little bit why we went wide. On that rear, well, actually on either tyre we've got no grip left. Binder looking over his shoulder, probably not the best idea when I'm right behind him. Through turn 4 then, we're probably going to gain the lead back on him, I would have thought, as long as I set it up right. Because he's going to turn in nice and early. He is. Once again makes the mistakes up the inside of Darren Binder. Once again we go. So into the lead of the race. Down towards turn 6. Of course, Binder's probably going to hit us at the back here because he's very close. We've got to watch out. He doesn't. Very close. In fact, he did tap me a little bit. There has been another crash behind. I'm guessing it's probably one of the people that's already crashed. Because they only seem to crash at turn 4 and then at the end of the triple right-handers. Those are the two corners they seem to fall off on. They kind of cut the corners a lot. But those are the two where they seem to fall off quite a lot. So I'm guessing that would have been a rider that had already crashed earlier on in the race. So through that section, Binder right behind us. This is where everyone's suffering all race through that changeover direction. So Binder retakes the lead, bit of contact with Binder because once again I couldn't change the bike direction. I forced him wide, but I didn't even go into him on purpose. I was going full lean to the left. The bike just would not turn to the left. But it actually has helped me out a little bit by that because that's hung Darren Binder out to dry. So I feel a little bit bad for that. But he's looking at the inside now into these triple right-handers. Through 14 then, this is one where Binder needs to be extremely careful because the AI have been making many mistakes there. Dennis Fogger has gone down in that corner for a second race in a row now. Binder looks up the inside to the penultimate turn. It's not going to quite be enough, I don't think, as we go down towards the last corner, but Binder is still right there. Binder is there. Binder could do this. So we go through the last corner. Binder's on the inside, but once again, I think he's made the mistake. He's cut the corner too fine, but he is still in the drive. He's got the slipstream, actually. I'm going to veer over to the left to make sure that Binder doesn't have it, because this one is going to be a much closer finish than the last race as we come up towards the line. And then using power mode 3, we win yet another race here in career mode 2 from 2. So then, that is 2 wins so far this season, ahead of Darren Binder in second. So it does seem like Binder is going to be our championship rival 1-2 once again, but Binder was so much closer in this one. I really felt like he actually might have been able to drag me to the line if I hadn't been saving my fuel throughout the race. Because only 3/10 in it, I struggled a lot more actually in this race, I think. To be honest, I would have thought that maybe my race time was a little bit slower in this race. Purely just because the amount I was actually struggling at flicking the bike over from the left to the right. I made so many mistakes in that area. I'm sorry that I pushed Binder wide. Again, I didn't mean to do it, but he was on the outside of me and I was just trying to flick the bike over. I just couldn't flick it over quick enough. The AI can flick the bike over a lot faster. I just couldn't get it turned, so I just went straight into the side of him. But we were side by side. It was just a mistake I made. It wasn't me trying to squeeze him out on purpose, so it's just one of those things that happens. But Kaito Toba actually ended up in 3rd place then, so pretty good finish from Toba. Guevara in 4th and Koffler in 5th, so CIP having a really good day actually. And obviously Fogger, he crashed right near the end, so once again, majority of the riders crashing, only us top 5 once again not crashing. And to be honest, Max Koffler is actually 5 seconds off, so he probably crashed right at the start of the race maybe, and was able to catch up like literally on the first lap. He might have been one of those riders that went down, I feel like that. But how many retired in this race then? A lot again, so Acosta, Salac, Yamanaka, Antonelli, Fanati, Nepa, Izdahar, Fellon, Cunny. So 21st down, again retiring, so many riders retiring there. Ricardo Rossi, the last of the finishers. Unfortunately, I didn't get the fastest lap of the race. I actually thought I would, but apparently Jason DePasquier did with a 2:07.1. I think that might be a little bit bugged, although Artigas did a 2:07.5, so the AI, they have some serious pace when they're on their own, but it seems like they lose it when you're in a pack with them. So there's been so many changes in the championship you can see there, but we still lead then 10 points now in front of Darren Binder in second. Suzuki still sat in third, but he already has half of our points, so you can see how much has been lost by the AI here by all those crashes. Guevara moves himself up to 4th in the championship on the gas. 5th then for Toba after that podium finish. Good finish from him. You can see Koffler moves up 18 places himself, so many positions. Fogger moves up 17. You can see how little points all these guys have because so many of them have crashed in both races. It's absolutely crazy that this has been happening, and I'm assuming it'll probably carry on into the next race. So this championship is going to be wild for who's actually going to finish behind myself and Binder, because Binder seems to be the only AI that can be consistent. So in the Teams Championship then, we take the lead, 3 points now ahead of Petronas Sprinter Racing with 6:58 in 3rd place. So I think McPhee letting that Petronas team down a little bit by crashing in the first 2 races. Of course, Binder's brought home 40 of those 50 points so far. So that kind of tells you more than you need to know. We have 53, so Carlos Tatai has obviously brought home a few points, which is nice to see. So then, time to end this weekend by returning to the Career Hub, and then after that, we've got the Portuguese Grand Prix. It'll be interesting to see how good the AI are at that circuit, because it's a brand new circuit to the MotoGP games. So once again, then we gain 10,500 reputation points, which takes up to 31,000. And on the credits, we gain 6,158 as well, which takes up to 57,217. But this is where it matters here, of course, the research data. So we passed all of the programs except the best race time, and once again, with that multiplier, we actually gained 950 on the engine and 700 on the frame. So that should be enough already to do another upgrade, I would have thought. So we've actually got lots of notifications here. We've got 9 on the personal manager. I'm guessing this is just the same as last time. We've actually got some Moto2 teams that are already interested in us, apparently. So that's a little bit weird. Like, I suppose, actually, it kind of makes sense. I guess if you had a rookie that came in and won the first 2 Moto3 races, you would have Moto2 teams looking at him, actually. Like, you're going to get that with Pedro Acosta in real life this year. So, yeah, actually, I guess that does make sense that we've got some Moto2 teams interested now. So the notification on the headquarters actually is that the frame upgrade has now come in. So that second frame upgrade is now complete. And we actually have enough research data to upgrade the 3rd one. So we are going to put this straight on then. So that upgrade is going to take another 4 weeks to come in. So it seems it takes about 4 weeks for the upgrades to come in. And honestly, we're pretty close to already fully upgrading this. We've got one more upgrade we can actually put on because you pick between these two. That's how it works. We'll just have to pick, I guess, depending on what I think will be better. Probably this one, because better tyre consumption, that's always good to go with. And then on the engine, obviously we have enough now to actually upgrade this next section, but we can't because we've still got one in development. So as soon as our engine upgrade finishes in 3 weeks' time, we'll be able to just stick on another one straight away. So we're just going to advance forward to the next week. I think we've got to pay some staff. And then advance forward one more to the Portuguese Grand Prix. There's no notifications on any of the fronts here, so nothing on the personal manager, technical staff, or the headquarters. So the next thing to do then is to head into the Portuguese Grand Prix. This will be really, really interesting to see how the Moto3 bikes are around Portimao, see how the AI are around Portimao. I am looking forward to it, so I'll see you at the end of practice. Hopefully we've got the pace here as well, but everything could be turned on its head. So then, this practice session has been really, really tough. I've been chipping away at it. As you can see, I've done 10 laps in this one. I still needed to do another 2 to actually get the race pace objective, because I needed to do 5 laps under a certain time in a row, but I don't have enough fuel, as you can see. I only have 0.3 laps left, and I don't want to then go through and do another 5 laps. I can't really be bothered to do that in practice, so I think I'm just going to advance forward to qualifying here. We're 6th place, we're 2/10 off the fastest time, so I think we should be pretty safe to go through into qualifying 2. We were like 2 seconds off to start with, so we've improved so much during the session. And this is on a medium front hard rear as well, because I don't want to use up all my mediums trying to get used to the circuit. So we're going to head into qualifying now. We'll be onto a soft set of soft, so we actually might be able to do a pretty good lap time. So as long as we can start somewhere near the front, we'll be in the ballpark for the race. So then we did end up 6th place at the end of that session. Not too bad considering I'm learning this track on a Moto3 bike for the first time. Obviously at Qatar I kind of had an idea of the lines to take, whereas here I was actually all over the place, so far off on the first couple of laps. But by the end I've started to nail the first couple of sectors. Last sector I was getting a lot quicker in as well. So it's nice to see that I'm getting closer to the front. So hopefully in this qualifying session we'll be able to put the bike somewhere representative, somewhere pretty decent, and then sort of try and get away with a little group at the front in the race. So fortunately we were actually fast enough to go straight through into qualifying 2. And you can see who's come through qualifying 1. We've got Fenati and Onshu again. Guevara, like in Doha, is coming through again. And then there's also Sasaki. But Onshu and Fenati, they've been in every single Q1 so far, I think. And they've gone through in every single one. So it's going to be a little bit weird playing this track with softs. It's going to be quite different. I think it's a bit more sunny as well now. Whereas obviously before it was cloudy when I was in free practice 1. So hopefully my pace kind of translates across. And hopefully we can find maybe a little bit more on these tyres. It's just told me that that development was complete there, the Sector 31, but I mean, I'd done that one already and I did it in free practice, so a little bit weird that one, but oh well, doesn't matter I suppose. So we were actually 9th quickest then, so we only just got through, we're only through by a couple of positions there. So the AI must have improved in FP3, because FP2 was wet, it was wet track, and FP3 I think was fully sunny, so I think there probably is a little bit more pace in the bike than here. 51.5 currently for McPhee, so a little bit slower than what Yama Masia was doing in free practice 1, so hopefully we should be sort of on the pace and be able to get a good qualifying position. So coming out of the last corner then up towards the line. What's this time going to be? We were fastest in the first sector, but only personal bests in the middle and third sectors. So it is actually pole. We've actually gone top. Okay, that took me by surprise. So we gained a lot of time in the last section because we were about 2/10 down through sector 3, so we must have gained about half a second almost on John McPhee through that last sector then. So we've got about 2/10 of a second to McPhee then, so this is going to be pretty tight, I would have thought. So we'll head back to the pits. We'll probably need to come out again because the AI do tend to improve as the session goes on. So at the end of the session then, it was actually pole position still, so I actually am quite surprised by that. To be honest, I was not expecting to even be on the front row because I was a few tenths behind the AI, but we just beat McPhee and Acosta. Look how close it was, 21 thousandths of a second between myself and McPhee. Then Acosta in 3rd, Mino in 4th, and Alcoba in 5th position. So really close in this qualifying session. I've not quite got the track down yet, so this is going to be a really good race, I think. It's not too long of a run down towards the first corner, so hopefully we'll be able to hold on to the lead, but we'll see what happens in the race. We've not been getting great starts so far, so I expect that to continue. So then, down here on the grid, and once again, we are going for the medium tyres. Good job we actually saved some for the race. I had enough front tyres. I'm onto the last medium front now, but I had enough, and on the rears, I didn't want to overuse too many mediums, so I had 2 medium tyres left for the race, so it was all okay. But this is probably going to be the closest race so far. Obviously, the Doha GP earlier on in this episode was super close. Only just beating out Darren Binder. Binder is a little bit further behind, actually, in this one. He's down in 7th place, so the pressure is kind of off me. I don't know where Suzuki is, actually. I didn't think to check. Obviously, he's in 3rd in the championship, but we can be a little bit careful. I can take a 2nd, I can take a 3rd, I can take a 4th, if I need to. I want to try and win, of course, but if I need to, I can finish a little bit further down because Binder's quite far down the grid himself. He's down in about 7th place, so be interesting to see if he can come through. Interesting to see if I can actually hold on to the lead, but let's get this one started and see what happens. So unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's any talking over this cutscene this time. I usually like to put this little cutscene on, but I've tried to re-record it a couple of times. There's been no audio. So then, on pole for the 3rd race in a row, another Petronas bike alongside us, McPhee, once again, just like in Doha. But we're waiting for the lights to go out here then. Lights out and away we go. We're in power mode 3, which actually has allowed us to get a bit of a better start. So I'd stayed in that from qualifying, so that was quite good because I probably wouldn't have gone into that. So as we go down towards the first corner, McPhee's on the inside through the first corner. Oh, huge crash for John McPhee. Absolutely huge. So that's 3 races in a row now John McPhee has crashed out of. I mean, I have no idea what he was doing, to be honest. I mean, he turned in so early, just jumped up the curb on the inside. It's a huge crash for John, but so strange that the AI keep doing this. There's been another crash behind, so it seems like that bug is not limited to Qatar. It seems to transfer over to Portimao, so that is really unfortunate there. But we have got a pretty big lead already, so we've got 7/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second now over Pedro Acosta in 2nd position, but they'll probably catch me up as we go around the track. I've just made a big mistake there through turn 7, probably going to get a track limits warning for that. Acosta's now gone down as well. I've got this super wide through Samsung though, so I lost a bit more time. Alcoba catching up to the back of us, but so many crashes on his first lap. Darren Binder's already got his way up into 4th position, so fair play to Darren Binder. Gone a little bit wide through turn 13. That might give the lead to Alcoba. Not quite, just keep it in front of him. But I'm quite annoyed that I squandered that lead. I had almost a second from crashes behind. And oh, Alcoba's now down. Same with Mino. And that's put Binder up to 2nd. So many riders. Look at the left-hand side of the screen. So many it's saying that are crashing. They're all just crashing in that one corner. But it's put Binder up into 3rd place already. I have now got nearly a 2nd lead again because of the crashes. So this time I really don't want to squander that lead. Looks like I shifted up a little bit too early, to be honest, and they are closing up again. But we've got about 1 second, then we've got 8/10 of a second over Darren Binder. We've done a little bit of a stoppie down towards the first corner on the crest. There's been another crash. Macia's now down as well, so Yama Macia once again crashes. That puts Jason Dupasquier up into 3rd place, and Mino has already crashed in this race and is back up into 4th. So everybody except us top 3 has crashed at some point in this race. I'm guessing from that now. So that is absolutely unbelievable, considering we're only on lap 2 as well. They need to fix this. It's such a game-breaking glitch. It seems like Darren Binder's the only AI that just doesn't crash all the time. And it's just me and him out front, but every AI except Binder and Dupasquier have fallen off in this race. Or at least have been so far behind that they were still behind an AI after they fell off, which I guess could be possible with Riccardo Rossi down there. But Macia crashed on this lap and got back on in 6th place. Mino crashed on the first lap, so now back up to 4th. There's been another crash behind. It's one of the riders that had already crashed, doesn't like to do Dupasquier or Binder. We seem to gain a lot of time for that last corner on the AI, actually, because I've just put about 2nd into Binder almost through that last corner. He was about, what, 7/10 behind? I'm now 1.6 towards the line. Yeah, about 1.6 seconds in front of him. So I put about 9/10 into him through that last corner. So that seems to be a really weak spot for the AI. This race actually is seeming to be really strange because it seems like I actually have the pace over Binder behind as well. So obviously I got given about a second for free. Oh, Binder's down! Binder's crashed now, so Darren Binder has gone down out of 2nd position in this race. So only Jason Dupasquier has not crashed. That is absolutely unbelievable. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. We were pulling away anyway, but we've now got almost 4 seconds. We've got 3.7 seconds over Jason Dupasquier in 2nd position. That is ridiculous. What is going on, man, in this race? Everybody except Jason Dupasquier has fallen off in this race. And Mino's gone down for a 2nd time now. So Mino's gone down again. Macia has gone down for a 2nd time. Antonelli's gone down. Riccardo Rossi is up to 4th. Andy Farad is starting 5th. Macia has crashed twice and is in 6th place. That kind of tells you all you need to know. I've just picked up a track limits warning. Oh dear. I suppose it doesn't matter too much because we are 4 seconds out in the lead. So I think if I had to do a long lap penalty, I actually might still come out in the lead anyways. But another crash. Masia is down again. So yeah, I'd be surprised if he got back on after that. I mean, it looks like he has because Koffler's now crashed. And he's got back on in 7th again. So Masia, I have no idea what his bike is made of, but seems to be absolutely invincible here. So on the final lap then now, I toned down my lap time quite a bit on the last lap. There's no point pushing on and crashing or anything like that. Also the tyre wear is kicking in quite a bit at this point as well. But yeah, this race has just been so crazy. We're almost 5 seconds out in the lead now in front of Jason Dupasquier. And everybody except him has crashed. I just can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. I mean, there's been so many crashes. I thought this probably could happen at one of the races where literally every AI or every AI except like 1 or 2 fall off. But yeah, I mean, half the AI have crashed twice as well. That's the thing. Like, most of them have probably crashed twice. It's ridiculous. Antonelli's down again as well. So unfortunately my teammate has crashed. Masia is down for a 3rd or 4th. I think it might be the 4th time Masia has fell off now. And he's still in 7th place. Oh, he's finally been passed by Guevara. But how is Masia still running in this race? He's crashed so many times. I'm sure Masia has crashed on every lap actually. Which is and the fact he's still running in 8th place just shows you that he's probably not the only one. Look at the track map though. There's people about half a lap behind me, or like a whole sector behind me, like a quarter of a lap down. Like that is mad. But out of the last corner then, coming up towards the line, a pretty easy win this one. I mean, all I had to do was actually stay on the bike because I was quicker than Dupasquier. In no way Masia has crashed again. That is absolutely ridiculous, but an easy win for me there. So in the end then, we actually won 4.9 seconds ahead of Jason Dupasquier in 2nd. So it actually seems like maybe that weird simulated times bug with the gaps maybe is fixed, because he didn't actually take any time back off me, although they all do the weird fastest laps. I mean, look at these laps. Masia and McPhee, yeah, literally must have crashed at every lap because their fastest laps are 55s. 55.2 for both of them. So Masia and McPhee must have literally crashed on every lap. That's absolutely ridiculous. Rodrigo then did a 51.1. I'm guessing there's going to be most of the field retired. Yes, that's why he still got back on his 7th place. 13th downwards retired. Wow, that is ridiculous. How can that happen? I actually want to have a look at the replay, a little look at the replay, just to see sort of what the crashes were, because we only saw McPhee go down. That was the only one we actually saw, because I was at the front for most of the race. So I'll just quickly watch from Dupasquier. You can see there was a big crash up here. So one rider crashed in the middle of the pack, which took a lot of them out. So that's why a lot crashed there. But this is where it gets really bad, around this next corner. Just watch in front of the AI in front of Dupasquier here. Look at how many of them just washed the front on that curb and crash. That's why they're all crashing on like every lap, because half the AI, like, every time they went round there, were just binning it at that corner. Absolutely unbelievable. And then obviously Mino and Alcoba had a crash, and I want to see if they actually took each other out, or if it was, no, it was just a completely unrelated crash. So if they tipped it in, again, they're just, yeah, they're losing the rear on the curb, and look how many followed him in. Oh, so weird. They need to fix this glitch. It is game-breakingly bad, because it's just making you literally, I couldn't have lost that race if I tried. So I suppose we should see what that has done to the championship, but I'm guessing we're going to have a 35-point lead now over Binder. Yeah, that's what's happened here. Rusai Yamanaka has actually moved himself up to 3rd in the championship. Jason Dupasquier is up to 7th, because obviously they both got pretty decent results out of it. But it's absolutely ridiculous what's been happening, because we've now got a 35-point championship lead from what was 10 before. And now we've got 50 points over the rider in 3rd place, effectively. Well, I suppose we have, really, because Yamanaka's probably not going to stay there anyway. So Suzuki, we actually have got 50 points over him, but we've got like 50 points over anybody that's not been there. And we've got over a race win's worth over him as well now. So yeah, a little bit. It's a shame that all these crashes keep happening, because I think the AI actually are giving really good racing in this game so far. Like the battles I actually had at Qatar have been really, really fun, but here at Portimao, they actually had the pace, to be honest. Like, it was just the last corner they didn't really have the pace through, and obviously I got given a free second by all the AI crashing. So Binder like dropped back a little bit. I put a little bit of time into him. I actually did a pretty good lap when Binder was behind, but then he crashed. So that just left Dupasquier behind, who obviously isn't a front-running rider in the game. So it's fairly easy to put a few seconds into him. That's how I ended up about 5 seconds ahead of him, because that would be a normal gap to finish in front of him anyway, probably. But it's a shame because we've had some really good racing in Qatar so far, but we've been robbed of that here just because of the crashing. In the Teams Championship then, because Petronas didn't score any points, we actually have a 24-point lead over them now in the Teams Championship, with Bristol GP jumping up 5 up into 3rd place. I'm sure they would be pretty happy with that in real life. But now it's time to return to the career hub, and we'll end off the episode there. So once again, gaining 10,500 reputation points, which takes us up to 41,500. And we gain 6,158 credits, which takes us up to 62,875. Now, once again, we got majority of the research data. Only one free practice session that we couldn't complete because, well, we didn't crash in any of the sessions, so we got that without force passed. To gain access to Q2, we passed that as well. And then the track study, top speed, sector study, we did that. But race pace, I had to do another 5 laps to do that, so I didn't bother doing it. But I could have got it, I suppose. But with the research data, then we now have 1,416 on the engine and 510 on the frame. So we actually have quite a few notifications on the personal manager now, so even more Moto2 teams now interested. So we've got the Stop and Go team, we've got Speed Up, we've got the Aspar Speed Up as well, we've got Federal Oil, Grassini, so quite a few teams interested now, and the chances of the others have gone up as well, so you'd actually have a pretty good shot with one of these now, in Idemitsu or American Racing. We'd actually have a decent shot with one of those teams if we tried to sign for them. And on the headquarters then, it's just that the engine upgrade has come in and we can obviously immediately install another one because we have 1,416 research data on the engine, so we'll straight away put all the engine people on that. So that upgrade is going to take 5 weeks to come in, so it'll be a while before we actually see that one, and then we've got 1 week left on that frame upgrade, so we should get that in the next episode after the Spanish Grand Prix. But that pretty much brings this episode to a close. And not really got much to say because the race was kind of ruined by the AI just crashing all the time. Obviously, the Doha GP, that was a good one. I really enjoyed the Doha GP. It was a good battle right to the wire with Darren Binder. It was a really, really fun race. Again, obviously the first 2 Qatar races were kind of spoiled a little bit by the amount of crashes, but Portimao was a whole new level. Only Dupasquier actually stayed on the bike, which is unbelievable. But I hope you did enjoy that one. The next one should be out tomorrow once again, so I'm just going to try and keep up this daily uploads as long as I can. I'm trying to get a little bit ahead as well on the first couple of days, and then that should be a little bit easier for myself to actually stay on top of it. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.